Hello everyone, my name is Mariah and I'm with the Huntsville-Madison Public Library, and today we are going to be doing origami cranes. Alright y'all, so if you have origami paper, once again that's great. I'm actually going to be using printer paper, so I have my scissors handy because we are going to be cutting. So yeah, if you have printer paper or construction paper, go ahead and just put your scissors nearby. Okay, so I'm actually using a medium-sized little cutout of my printer paper. Make sure your paper is in the shape of a square. It just works better that way. If you want to use a bigger square, that's fine. If you wanted to use a smaller square, that's fine. It just depends on the size of the crane that you want to make. So go ahead and put your paper flat on the table. What you are going to want to do is take one corner of the piece of paper and kind of go ahead and just fold it on over like so until the edges meet. Go ahead and press down, press, 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 press. Go over it again. Make sure you just have a very firm crease. Once you do, you should have this shape right here, and you're going to have that excess paper right here. This is where your scissors come in handy, so you're going to want to go ahead and just get your scissors and just snip, snip, snip to get rid of that excess paper. Awesome. So now we're done with scissors. You can go ahead and put those to the side. You can go ahead and just push that little scrap piece of paper aside. And so once you open up your paper, you should have that vertical line, the one that's going up and down. You can go ahead and just take your other corner and fold right on over, like so. Awesome. So when you open it up, you're going to have some little, some crisscross creases. Go ahead and flip your paper on over, so that way you still have your X creases right here. And go ahead and just take the edge of your paper and fold it over, hot dog style. Go ahead and press, press, press. And go ahead and open up your paper and just tilt it, and we're going to fold it once more like so. Awesome. So you should be looking at your paper like this. You're going to have your vertical crease right here. You're going to have your horizontal crease, and then you're going to have your crisscross creases right here. Awesome. Put your paper back on the table. Go ahead and tilt it so that it is in the shape of a diamond facing you. So you should still have your horizontal crease. Right underneath your horizontal crease, you should have your other two creases right underneath it. This is where I like to take my thumbs. I press down on these smaller creases with my index fingers right underneath this paper right here, right underneath the horizontal crease. That's right here. Take your index fingers, go underneath it, and just start folding on down. The paper is naturally going to fold in on itself, so once you do that, you should get a shape that looks just like this. And I'm going to do that again in case anyone had trouble. I'm just going to open that paper back up until we have our little diamond shape right here. Flatten it out some here. Well, since it's facing me, it's actually going to be the bottom creases towards you. You're going to take your thumbs, press them on the small creases, take your index fingers, put it underneath that horizontal fold, and just press, press, press. Your paper's going to want to fold in on itself. And then you should have this right here. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and place it back on the table. So you should have your vertical crease now. What you're going to want to do, since you have two flaps, you're going to try to create two flaps on your paper. So with one of the corners, you're going to fold it in till it meets the middle crease, like so. And once you do it, you should have a flap just like that. You do the same thing with the other side. You just fold it in till it meets the center, till it meets its twin over here. I'm going to place it back down. You're just going to want to fold. Keep on folding. To be perfectly honest, my folds are never perfect, so if yours aren't either, that's fine. If you do have perfect folding skills, I applaud you. I'm slightly jealous. We'll go ahead and flip it on over. And you're going to want to just do the same thing that we did to the other side. You're going to take those little edges right here and fold it till you get to the center, and you're going to press down. You're going to take its twin and just go ahead and press till you get to the center. Something that will make it easy on us towards the end of this crafting tutorial is if you take this top part right here and you just fold it down a little like so. So I'm going to place my shape down. I'm going to take the top part. I'm just going to fold it down, 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 press, press. So you'll have something that looks just like this. You have your little top part that's been folded down. You can go ahead and raise it up though. We just wanted to make a crease, like I said, that'll make it easier for us towards the end of this tutorial. Go ahead and start opening up all of your flaps. Turn it over, and you're going to open it right here. When you actually raise up the flap on the inner part, let's see, put it down a little bit. On the inner part, you're going to have these inner creases right here. That is where you are going to want to take the edge. We're going to take the edges right here and kind of just fold them on in. I'm going to turn it towards me so I can see it a little better, make it easier on myself so I can actually show you guys. Okay, so yeah, so when you take this inner flap right here, you're just going to kind of press in until your edges meet. Press, press, press. You're going to do the same thing to the other side. You're going to take the edge of your paper and just fold it on in like so. Once you do, it's fine if this part gives you trouble. It still gives me a little bit of problems as well. But as you fold those flaps in, you're going to have this little crease at the top towards the top portion of your paper. Let's see. Go ahead and just make sure those parts stay folded. To make it easier, something that I recently learned is for that crease right here, you can go ahead and just fold it on back like that. If you didn't get the hang of it on this side, go ahead and, if you need to, go ahead and flip it over and try it on the fresh side. That way, once you get the hang of it, you can just flip it back over and try it again. What we were doing is the same thing where you lift up that fold, you take the edges and you fold it so that they meet, like so. Do the same thing with the other side. Just, there's a crease right here, just fold along the crease. Make sure your edges are meeting. And just keep pressing, pressing, pressing. Remember there's that crease right here to make it easier on us. In just a second, as you keep pressing and pressing to the creases, you can go ahead and just drop this part on down. Mine's starting to become a little loose and not as easy to fold, so I'm just sticking my finger in here to press on the creases to make it easier. So you just keep pressing, pressing, pressing. So you should have a shape just like this with your bottom flaps down here. Okay, so since we have our flaps down here and we have this part up here, what we're going to want to do, I'm going to put it down here so you can see it. For one of the flaps up here, I usually like to draw a little line right here. You don't have to do it, it's just easier for me. I drew my little line as a center crease to help me fold it because we're going to be folding the flaps over again. You want your flaps to meet this little edge right here. So I'm folding it over. I'm going to do it to the twin side, just take my little nail and draw a little line in the middle. That way it can help guide me as I fold. You're going to fold, fold, fold. Let's see. And once you fold it, you should be looking at something just like this. You should still have the two individual flaps, but you're going to have that. You're just going to flip it over, and you're going to do the same thing with these two flaps over here. You're just going to press this like so. Awesome. And do the same thing to the other flap. And once you do that, you can press it and make it a little flap. Once you do that, you should have your shape that looks just like this, your paper that looks just like this. So for this next portion, you're going to want to stick your index finger in between the middle flaps right here, those top two flaps, and you're going to want to pinch them together so that they fold in on themselves. So just like that. And you can kind of pinch it on down to make sure everything stays nice and even. And then you want to kind of just flip it on over and do the same thing to the side where you press them together. And then if you need to put it back on your tabletop to ensure that your folds are staying nice and even and neat, you are more than welcome to do so. Okay, and it's fine if the other side comes undone, you can just pinch them back together. Those folds should hold, so now, actually let's fix this part right here. And so now you should have your paper that looks like that. And it's okay if the ends don't meet up, it's perfectly fine. So now that we have that portion done, you can go ahead and put your paper on the table. If it's not, go ahead and take the bottom flaps and you're gonna wanna just push them on up. I don't think it matters too much how far up you go with your fold. Usually there's a very faint crease on each side. I just use that as my own guide to help me go up when I fold it. So using those little faint creases, I'm going to fold the other side like so. This next step is not mandatory. You absolutely do not have to do it at all. But I like to take, once we have folded those on up, I like to kind of just fold it back down just a little bit, just to give it another crease. I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing. Once again, you do not have to do this. It's just a personal preference. I'm just going to fold this until the wings, the wings meet up. Press, press, press. And so for this, for this part right here, it's up to you to choose whether if you want this part to be the head and this part the tail, or if you want this part to be the head and this part be the tail. It's just up to you. I will go ahead and just make this side the tail though. And so now I'm going to let this side be the head. What I'm going to do is take my pointer finger and kind of divide. There should be a crease in here. I'm going to divide that crease apart just a little bit. I'm going to press down on the head. In the middle of the head should be a very faint crease, and you just go ahead and press those together to get that head a little definition. And you have your head, your tail, and then your wings. You have your crane.